Nicola Sturgeon's hopes of taking an independent Scotland into the EU were put in doubt by the country's North Sea oil slump and growing deficit. A published earlier this month has shown how complex the process of Scottish independence could be, as almost 40% of Scots were found to be less likely to support secession if their country was required to replace the pound. The survey by Redfield and Wilton Strategies of 1,000 Scottish adults found that 39% would be less likely to back the country's departure from the Union if it would then be required to replace the pound with the euro. EU officials also warned the Scottish First Minister that entry to the EU could hinge on her willingness to accept the euro. One told The Telegraph, "If you join the club, you have to wear the tie, you cannot wear your own tie." Critics of the SNP and Ms Sturgeon have also raised fears over Scotland's economy and whether joining the EU is possible without spending cuts. This is because new member states are required, via the Copenhagen criteria, to have a deficit of no more than 3%. The Institute for Fiscal Studies estimated in April that, due to the pandemic, Scotland's deficit may have tripled from 8.6% of GDP in the financial year before COVID-19 to between 22 and 25% of GDP in 2020-21. Mary Spowage, interim director at the Fraser of Allender Institute, at Strathclyde University, explained how the pandemic may have made Scotland's EU entry more difficult. He said, "One of the big changes since 2014 has been the virtual disappearance of North Sea revenues an independent Scotland might expect to have. This means Scotland's underlying fiscal deficit is less erratic but also, COVID-19 aside, unsustainably high." The SNP's Growth Commission report acknowledged this, and the EU would clearly have concerns, too. However, the future position on how much Scotland would need to trim its fiscal sails by is uncertain, as the EU has suspended its fiscal rules. It intends to review them post-pandemic with a strong likelihood that they will be more accommodating. Nevertheless, some difficult decisions would inevitably lie ahead post-independence. She told The Times, "It would not be possible to run structural deficits of this scale over the long run, so various options, including policies to grow the economy, expand and change the tax base, increase tax rates or cut spending, are likely to feature." Of course, the UK too faces significant budgetary pressures, and this will impact upon Scotland inside or outside the Union. With COVID-19 making everyone's public sector deficits that much bigger, the challenge of building a model of fiscal sustainability just got harder. New member states can join the EU with a plan to reduce the deficit, as Croatia did in 2013, but this can come with harsh austerity measures. Economist John McLaren also explained in April how North Sea oil's drastic slump in revenue over recent years could cause concern from Brussels. In 2013, the SNP suggested oil prices would be broadly stable for at least 2 years. However, the price of crude oil plunged. At the time of the projections they were at £86 per barrel, and fell to £21 in 2016 before rising to £56 by 2018. The Government Expenditure and Revenue Scotland (GERS) report for 2019-2020 showed that oil price averaged at around £44, a 12% decline from the previous year. Prices in 2019-20 were described as extremely volatile in the report, with the daily price ranging between £53.98 and £10.74, largely caused by the COVID-19 related oil demand decreases. Overall North Sea production declined slightly in 2019-20, falling by 1.8%. While Scotland's route into the EU is not without economic challenge, various experts and MEPs have said Brussels would likely welcome an independent Scotland into the bloc. Irish MEP Billy Callagher told Express.co.uk last month that there should be little opposition to Ms Sturgeon's ambitions. He said, "In the event of Scottish independence happening in the short term, I don't believe there would be huge barriers to Scotland joining the EU. It would be very similar in terms of compliance, in terms of meeting standards. In the event of it happening, I can certainly see there will be goodwill towards Scotland joining." On top of this, the representative from the Fianna Fáil party in Ireland also said that Scotland shouldn't suffer on a trading front, even if independence creates difficulties at the border. Mr. Callagher continued, if Scotland was to withdraw from the UK and join the EU, it would still be trading with the UK, and it will have more open trade with the EU. Therefore I don't see a huge obstacle economically for Scotland from that perspective. There could be issues around the border in terms of free flow, but that will only come around in my view depending on the UK's attitude. If Scotland was to join the EU, the situation with the UK can be resolved with goodwill. It will be less dependent on England itself if it joined the EU.